Hello, this is Medical Science for Kids. Today we're learning about biology series again, the basic anatomy of the heart. This is the first lecture, or it's basically quite fun. This is our agenda. First, we'll be doing a simple osmotic gradient, like we learned in class the selectively permeable membrane gradient. Yeah, that's gonna be simple. At September 14, we'll NA. We didn't plan it yet. Vocabulary. This is very important before you learn the actual basic anatomy. Okay, arrhythmia. It is a problem or condition because caused by the sympathetic nerves and the autonomic nerves. The sympathetic nerves contain different code numbers, so it could contain different numbers on the top and the bottom. When you're learning anatomy. And the left ventricle. The left ventricle is one of the four chambers of the heart, located in the left quadrant below the mitral valve, which is the kind of a long tissue, and the left ventricle is the first chamber for the oxygenation and for oxygen. And the left atrium is basically the left posterior side. If you don't know what posterior side means, it's basically the rear end or the back side of the heart. And in anatomy, always remember that left is the opposite. So it's left is supposed to be right, and right is supposed to be left. And it acts as a pump to go to the left ventricle when it drains it. The right atrium is for deoxygenated blood or carbon dioxide from the circulation in the body. That's the job of the vena cava, the inferior and the superior. How does the left ventricle work in the atria? The heart is comprised of four chambers specifically. There are two atrias and two main ventricles. But what is this chamber, you may ask? The left ventricle is responsible as a drain after the left atrium receives oxygen-rich blood from the lungs supplied blood by the circumflex artery. What this means is the circumflex artery is basically the supply of blood. The supply of this blood, and then it goes to the left. It goes first to the left atrium. And the circumflex artery, if you may not know, is the supply of oxygen-rich blood to the left atrium. Yeah, that's what I said. And how does the right ventricle work with the first chamber for carbon dioxide? First, it is a job for the superior vena cava to transport the deoxygenated blood, or the carbon dioxide, or composed of two oxygen atoms and is basically a molecule. The circulation of blood returns to the veins of superior vena cava, and it can enter both sides directions because it's a huge vein. It's two large veins, and it can empty out to the right atrium. Once the deoxygenated blood or carbon dioxide enters the right atrium, and then it will enter the pulmonary artery, and at the end of the pulmonary artery is the valve, which will enter finally to the right ventricle. And it will go for oxygenation to the lungs so you can breathe properly. Protection of the heart. This is very important. These four membranes. One is the main membrane, one is the visceral pericardium, which is below the serous pericardium, and the visceral pericardium is what makes the heart it can move properly, and the serous pericardium, which it is a lubricant basically to also protect the heart, and it all protects the chest cavity, which is the edge of the heart. And the visceral pericardium is the interior layer of the pericardium and also the exterior layer. So it all becomes one. So always remember this. And the visceral pericardium is finally, it can help with the pericardial fluid and also protect the inner heart tissues. I hope you liked the video, and I hope it helps.